we are digging into all the pros and cons today about Lubbock, Texas, living in Lubbock, moving to Lubbock, investing in Lubbock, hanging out in Lubbock in 2024. There is no denying it. 2024 is going to be a bonkers year for our country. We've got the big election coming up. The Dukes are going to come out. It's probably going to be Biden and Trump. Who knows who it's going to be for the Republicans. But it's going to be a crazy year. And real estate has gotten significantly less popular in the past year and a half, partially because interest rates have been so through the roof high compared to what we did have for quite a while. So people are not having that. However, here's the little golden secret, the golden ticket I'm gonna give you. Lubbock, Texas is still popping off the radar. And that's why we gotta keep talking about it. That's why this channel's here, that's why I'm here. So let's get right into it with the pros and cons. Pro number one, but the economy is kind of in shambles. When the economy's going down, you want to live in a place that's gonna take care of you and be a lot cheaper. And that's why Lubbock, Texas is great. By and large, it's almost entirely cheaper. We're gonna put this graph up here. Overall, 10% cheaper than the national average. It is cheaper. Housing, 16%, utilities, 10%, groceries, 9%, and transportation, 13%. And yes, folks, that does pretty much mean gasoline in your car because Lubbock is close to the Permian Basin, which is in Midland, Odessa, and that's where a lot of the oil comes out of. It's cheap to get oil for us in Lubbock. You got a lot of oil barons and oil tycoons. Shoot, dadgum, I'm looking like J.R. Ewing from the show Dallas in the 1980s. Who killed him? Who knows? Nobody knows. It is significantly cheaper to live in Lubbock, Texas, and that's got to be the biggest pro. So if you're looking to save a quick buck, which I don't know who isn't, I might move to Lubbock because it's just by and large much cheaper to live there. Your median rent across the board in Lubbock, you're looking at close to $1,200, probably $1,300. That factors in apartments and houses too. So houses are always gonna be a little bit more expensive. Energy bill, looking at $150-ish a month. Now, a lot of people in Lubbock get solar panels because we are very flat. We got a lot of sun that shines on our houses. People like to soak up the sun like that Sheryl Crow song. Okay, here's con number one. People are always asking me or thinking that if they move to Lubbock, it's gonna be super boring and that there's nothing to do. Now, there's also a huge subset of people that look forward to and like the fact that Lubbock's not a Dallas, it's not a San Antonio, Austin, or Houston type area. It's not a big metropolitan area. So a lot of people do like the fact that Lubbock's so much slower paced. There's no traffic. The people leave you alone. A lot of people have guns. Just that it's that kind of area. So people oftentimes are looking for a more secluded area to hang out and live and move to. I just met some nice folks from California who actually visited Lubbock, and we got to sit down and meet. And they actually very much like the fact that they could find a nice area, maybe get 5 acres of land and build a house on it or something. That's the sentiment that a lot of people have. But also, guys, I'm gonna cue you on this. When people say there's nothing to do in Lubbock, that's actually an outright lie. They're lying to you. We're getting a freaking aquarium. I mean, what establishes a city more than having an aquarium at that city? That's a huge deal. So the aquarium, I believe, is gonna be built in the next year or two. But yeah, that's gonna be really cool. I'm sure we'll have manatees and sharks swimming around and fighting each other, duking it out again. We've got trampoline parks, plenty of stuff for kids to do, science museums, really cool place called the Science Spectrum. A lot of kids might go on a field trip to, the whole school might go. We're getting water parks too. A lot of aquatic things are coming to Lubbock, which is cool. But yes, there are plenty of things to do. We got movie theaters, we've got axe throwing places, we've got breweries, we've got pretty much everything that more artsy people might like, but then the more rugged individuals like not city slicker folk might enjoy, such as hunting. We're the sandhill crane capital of the world. These big birds that look terrifying, they look like dinosaurs. Every December and January, they all come to Lubbock and hang out. I don't know what they're doing. They're trying to catch a tech game or something, but they taste so good. We call them the ribeye of the sky, and they are delicious, but a lot of people hunt them there. You can go really 45 minutes outside of town and hunt some deer, hunt some birds, hunt whatever you want to hunt. People kill doves all the time. Bird hunting's really big, but there's really a ton to do. A lot of people like to go to the ranch and drive four-wheelers and take boats out in Buffalo or wherever the buffalo are. There are lakes, there are biking trails, Paladura Canyon, Caprock Canyon, not too far, not in a stone's throw, but they're relatively close. You can make a day trip out of doing a lot of outdoorsy things in Lubbock. So I flipped con number one on its head and turned it into a semi-pro because yes, we don't have everything that Dallas or San Antonio or Houston or whatever has, but you can find a lot of fun things to do. So, okay, pro numero dos. Here's where we're going. Schools. People love the Lubbock schools. I've talked about it in a couple videos. My dad and I actively invest in Lubbock. We have a couple of houses that we own, and we pretty much buy houses in 2 neighborhoods, Lubbock, Cooper, and Friendship, because everyone wants to move their kids there. They are great school districts. They are growing. They are nationally ranked, getting national ownership. So you got Friendship School District. You've got, of the 1,052 school districts in Texas, this one ranks number 14. That's in the top 1% of schools in the state, in Lubbock, Texas. That's pretty dope. Cooper is also ranked up there at number 58. You can't beat that. That's pretty solid. I mean, you can if you're Friendship, obviously, because Friendship's winning that one. Friendship is also ranked as 14th best places to teach. So teachers, if you want to have a good teaching gig, maybe move to Friendship. Maybe move into the Friendship School District. I don't know, do whatever you want, but just maybe think about it, consider it. And if you're watching this and you're considering moving, don't hesitate. My phone number is right here. It'll be me you're calling, me you're talking to. Would love to chat with you about moving, getting to Lubbock as fast as possible or as slow as possible. If you want to invest, if you live in Lubbock and you want to sell your house, give me a call. I'm right here, shameless plug. Keep going on the video. Another great one right outside of town is Shallow-Water ISD. It's northwest, and Shallow-Water is growing kind of like Wolfforth is growing, a little sub-city outside of Lubbock. It is actually ranked the 66th, so you're 6% there. So these school districts are very competitive. I know a lot of people nationally are concerned about what's being taught to their children. I can tell you that Lubbock is pretty old school, so no really new progressive ideas are being taught. That can definitely be a plus. And guess what? If you move to Lubbock and your kids go to school at these great school districts, then they can go to one of the best universities in the country, Texas Tech University. They used to say if you can't get your grades up, get your guns up. That's our kind of mascot, is Raider Red, and he's got 2 pistols. Now they say if your grades are up, then your guns should be up too, because you're coming to Texas Tech University. That's what they say. Texas Tech is awesome. A couple years ago, we went to the national championship in basketball, where we sadly, devastatingly lost. That was when I was a student there. Our football program's gaining a lot of traction. We have ranked nationally in chess and meat judging and all sorts of obscure things. We've got a very competitive school. People love the architecture of our school, the beauty of the style of buildings. It's all very Spanish style. It's also one of the largest campuses in the entire nation. You could get a really good agricultural degree, you could get an oil and gas degree, you could get a business degree like me, which was totally worth it for becoming a real estate agent. I majored in business management, and I guess you could say I'm managing a business. Well, it's debatable how well I'm doing that, but I guess kind of like a notorious philosopher has once said, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman, which is kind of me. I am the business. Let's rock and roll. So yes, that is pro number 2. I think we covered a lot of the bases. We've got some poppin' school districts, and these are only continuing to grow. Couple that with the fact that real estate is by and large incredibly cheap compared to the rest of the state, and you've got yourself a recipe for somewhere that you should be moving or investing. Let's hit con number 2, baby. It is the proximity to major cities. If you didn't like the last, or if you thought the last con was a con, you're definitely gonna think this one is a con as well, because we're kinda out in the middle of the country, a little bit. It's a 5-hour drive to Dallas, it's an 8-hour drive to Houston, and it's about a 6-hour drive to San Antonio and Austin, I believe, which that can add up on your vehicle. Unless you're driving like a Ford Fusion or something with really good, or a Honda Accord, something with great gas mileage. You're driving a big old diesel truck, it's gonna cost you to get from one to the other. A lot of people like to go to Dallas to see concerts, to maybe see family and friends. We are pretty far from there. Now, we do have an airport, which is very convenient, and most of the flights travel to either Houston or Dallas or San Antonio. So we are not lacking in that department. If you're in Lubbock and you wanna go to Dallas or Houston, you can really get to the Lubbock airport about 40 minutes before the flight and still have plenty of time to get through security and be just fine. So it really doesn't take that long to fly. The good thing is though, we're closer to Colorado, we're closer to New Mexico, and we all know why you heathens want to go to Colorado. Not for that, of course. And if you do and you drive back, be careful doing that. The state troopers are out there and they will smoke you. Not like that, they will arrest you. We are pretty close to skiing. We're about 3 hours away from the nearest mountain that you can ski, which is dope. If you're driving from Dallas or Houston, good luck doing that, because it's gonna be at least a 10-hour ordeal, which is gonna absolutely suck and eat all your gas up. And like we talked about in the first pro, it's cheaper to get gas in Lubbock, so you could just fill up your tank and get there in maybe 2, who knows? So yes, that's definitely con number 2 for us, is that we are not in a close proximity to other major cities. Okay, let's polish it on off with pro number 3, baby. It is Lubbock's economic growth and absolute tyranny and boom that we're seeing. We're like a boom town in California in the gold rush, but we're selling the shovels. We're the ones making all the money. So there is a lot of industry moving to Lubbock. We've talked about Leprino cheese. They're building a huge factory there, bringing like 600 jobs or so. We got a Tesla that's moved. We have a huge Amazon distribution center. We have a lot of entrepreneurial folks moving to Lubbock and wanting to make and put their businesses in Lubbock because we've got favorable tax stuff going on in the bureaucratic side of things. We've got nothing but land. There's a lot of room to grow. We have a lot of people coming in, so real estate's a great option and venture. And then more people means more direction for your business, whatever it is. You want to do a restaurant, you want to make cookies, you want to make whatever, you can do it in Lubbock, and you can do it to the best of your ability. Get on down here. Like I said, we're selling the shovels. Downtown is seeing a lot of growth. Within the last 3 years have built a major performing arts center, the Buddy Holly Performing Arts Center, which I've seen a comedian, Theo Vaughn, there personally. It was amazing. Music shows, they're awesome. We just built a new city hall. That's right, a completely new city hall. They're building stuff left and right. They're converting old jails to hotels, which would be really cool and maybe a little bit spooky. That's the kind of stuff that we're seeing a lot of diversification in our market, especially in the major areas like downtown, further out, which is such a cool addition to our city. It's awesome. Seems like everywhere you look, especially if you're driving southwest of town, you're seeing new shops, new restaurants, new houses, new everything. It's like, I grew up in Dallas, and I remember as a kid driving out to McKinney or something, and there was just nothing out there, and now you look out there and you're like, oh my gosh, it's just a thriving, sprawling city with tons of people in it. That's how I view Lubbock in the next 10, 15 years. We're sitting at around Lubbock proper, like 260,000. I wouldn't be surprised if that doubles in the next 10, 15 years. It has the potential to do that, I think, just with the amount of people that are interested in it and wanting to move there. So that's a huge deal. We got a lot of plans for new people, the new restaurant to be coming in. We've already got a roadhouse. They actually tore down the old roadhouse, which I believe was the most trafficked Texas roadhouse in the country. We love our Texas roadhouse in Lubbock. Come on, baby. They built an entirely new Texas roadhouse, not even 5 minutes away from the other one. Why they did that, I don't know. You're gonna have to call Texas Roadhouse and ask them. But stuff like that is happening all the time with all these restaurants. Dave's Hot Chicken is another one that's coming. I don't think I've ever had it, but I'm excited to try it. I do love me some chicken. Also, El Pollo Loco is looking to make its move to Lubbock, so that's cool. Con number 3, you could probably see it coming in Lubbock because Lubbock's about as flat as anything could ever be. You could see it coming from a mile away. It's the geography and weather. Not the prettiest place on the planet. You do have a lot of canyons close by. I wouldn't rank it as one of the prettiest places to live. So that's something you might definitely consider if you're thinking about moving here. It's very flat. We've got a lot of farmland, a lot of ranch type people, lots of cows and all that jazz. And like I said, you could sit in your back porch and see for maybe a mile or two, or more than that. We do get some good old southern storms sometimes that blow through and hail. The last, I would say, major tornado we had was in 1971, so nothing too crazy. I tell people the worst part about Lubbock weather is the wind. Like, when it's cold outside for the 4 months between November to February or so, and it's windy, it's brutal. I mean, it is not fun being outside because that wind will hit you and it'll hit your eyes and you'll have to close them or wear goggles or something because it gets really rough. So we rounded a lot of the bases on this video. I thought it was a great one. Obviously, you've got the cons, which are the geography and weather, the distance from major cities, and the lack of activities and all that jazz, but there are answers to all of those. It's not terrible, and the pros are moving us in the right direction. We're on train and we are moving in the absolute right direction. That's my sentiment. That's what I fully believe. That's why I love Lubbock. I'm personally invested in Lubbock, and I will continue to be because I think it's an awesome city and it really exemplifies how great the state of Texas is, and I don't think it's going anywhere. So thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in watching any of our other videos, click here. We got links down below. Comment. I love talking to the comments with you guys. Please comment, subscribe, like the video. Anyway, we'll see you on the next one. Toodles.